Hey, I'm Tommy Chong. Welcome to High on Homegrown.
Yes, everybody, and welcome to another episode of High and Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. This is episode 5 of the Grow Guides, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about cannabis seeds and cuttings from cannabis plants as well. We're going to explain where to get your seeds from, depending on which country you're in, what seeds to get, because there's autos, feminized, and regulars. There's different types, but we're going to explain that as well, and what types of seeds we would recommend for new growers. So lots of info in this episode. It's a good long grow guide section. We've got some good questions at the end for the Q&A as well. I hope you enjoy this episode. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube channel if you haven't already and subscribe. Just go to youtube.com/highandhomegrown. I hope you enjoy this episode of the Grow Guides. Don't forget there's 4 more episodes before this one as well, explaining everything you need to know about how to start your own grow. And next week, we're going to go on to germinating cannabis seeds and planting the cuttings and actually starting the grow off. So stay tuned for that. But for now, we'll catch you on Sunday for the main show. And we'll see you there. Catch you in a bit. Yes, everybody, and welcome to this week's section of the Grow Guides. This week, we're going to be talking about where to get cannabis seeds, what type of cannabis seeds are good to get for a beginner grower, and if you can, where to get cuttings from if you're in a legal place or able to get them, because cuttings might be better than seed for you. It just depends what's good for your situation. So far, we've covered what things to think about before you start a cannabis grow. Then we discussed equipment. Then we discussed what different mediums you can use to grow cannabis in. And the week after that, which was part 4, was all about nutrients. So now you're at a stage where you want to get some seeds or some cuttings and begin the actual grow. So that's what we're going to discuss this week, to try and give you an idea of what you should do for the next step. So most people would start growing their cannabis from seed, right? Would everybody agree to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's the majority of what all we can do, isn't it? Because it's so fucking hard to get cuttings or fucking things off people when you're in a legal country.
Cuttings require, at least, in the old school, let's assume we're not legal. Cuttings require a hell of a network of people to actually, you have to know growers. The growers have to trust you, and the growers have to be able to clone themselves. A lot of people don't. Seeds, because most people find seeds in their bag, right? And they're like, hey, I should grow this. So,
and that's really, I think, in my opinion, at least, where most new growers, a lot of them start with a bag seed. Maybe not the best idea, but at least you get your feet wet.
Some of the best weed has come from bag seed.
Yeah. You never know.
Some weed has, not some of the best, just some weed. It must have been decent, but the good shit takes refining, getting the right genetics together to make the good shit. Because Gorilla Glue number 4 is apparently one of those.
Lights number 5.
Yeah, came from a bag seed, but that took refining as well, really. It's not like they suddenly grown out a perfect Northern Light number 5. They got that and then got loads of seeds from that and bred them all out, found a good pheno.
Just on a tangent, the way I understand Northern Lights number 5 was Seattle Greg got a bunch of seeds. He didn't know what they were, and he did grow out a bunch of them, labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many Northern. I don't know how many there are actually. At least 5.
Well, there's Northern Lights number 9 as well. There's quite a few of them.
Okay, so I don't know if he went up to that far, but at least he did up to 5, and then he just took 5, and I think went with it. I don't know how actually he made seeds from it though. That I don't know. We should get Todd McCormick on the show. He knows he has some original. He knows Greg, and he has some original Northern Lights. But anyway, sorry, tangent on Northern Lights. Let's go back to seeds.
Yeah, there's loads of stories like that behind loads of strains, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I think for a lot of people, seeds are just easy because you can trust what strain it is, for one.
Yeah.
Then you can have them sent in the post from pretty much anywhere. But there are, of course, places around the world where you can't get seeds legally. Here in the UK, where we are in the UK, you can legally possess cannabis seeds, as many as you like. There's no limit on it or anything. It's just you're not allowed to germinate them. That's when you break the law, is when you germinate. So you can order any seed from pretty much anywhere in the world, and and keep them as souvenirs is what they're supposed to be. But of course, not many people keep them as souvenirs. That, you know, I've got many souvenir seeds, but that's only because I haven't got places to grow them yet. Yeah, but they will all be popped eventually. Until they get popped, they're souvenirs. So is that the same for you in the island, GB? What's the rules for you?
Yeah, it's the same over here. We can buy as many seeds as we want because they are novelty purposes. You know, that's what they say.
Yeah,
but,
souvenir purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to grow it. You know.
What about you, Monkey?
No, well, technically seeds are not legal in the United States. It's part of the cannabis prohibition thing that's still going around. So, you know, now it's a bit different, you know, because if you're successful in getting a seed order in, and there are ways around some of the banking rules and credit card restrictions and all that stuff in the States, but if they're sending you seeds and the seeds are opened by customs, they'll confiscate your seeds and send the package on, but you won't be arrested or charged or anything like that because, you know, you can't prove that you put that in the mail.
Yeah, very true.
Those things. So yeah, I mean, you may lose you'll lose your seeds that way, but
yeah, you'll lose your fucking Cinderella 99 and your Apollo Haze and your fucking Genius, fucking goddamn airborne G13. Anyway, sorry.
We can see somebody is sore.
Yeah, really. Now, while that's said and done, you know, thing is, I've never lost any seeds in the mail, ever. So I mean, they've always shown up on the other side just fine.
Let's see. What about you, Marge? What's the story with you?
Well, it's legal here, so it's not too bad to get seeds. However, I don't know if a lot of people realize this in Canada, is that technically you're only supposed to grow cannabis from legally purchased seeds, like from a dispensary.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. So if you're buying it from, like when I was growing before, we were buying them from our local like hydroponic shop, which technically
is illegal.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
Oh, that seed hadn't been taxed. Is that the deal?
I don't know. They're just saying, and I guess that was before it was legal, so I can't really speak to that. But they just want you to buy seeds from a legal dispensary. So if you're not buying them at a dispensary, they're not technically legal to grow.
Yeah, before it was the same deal as you guys. They're gray market. They're souvenirs. We could buy them and just have a fuckload of weed seeds, but once they're germinated, then it's a problem. But they sold them as souvenirs. Like you could go down, like Marge said, to the hydro shop, and they you still can actually. I've gotten some packages sent to me from Ontario from said hydro shops of Humboldt Seed Organization gear. You can't get that in the legal market, but yeah, Marge is exactly right. You have to grow legal seeds to be legal.
There's not a limit for you guys as well, because there's a limit to how much cannabis you can have, and a seed is considered as a gram of cannabis, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it would add, but I mean, you can buy 30 grams at a time.
How much cannabis are you allowed, an individual without a special permit, to possess in your home at one time?
I don't believe there's a limit on that.
So you could have a bale of weed in your house and that's not an issue.
I don't quote me on that. Kind of hard when I'm on fucking YouTube here, but I don't think there's a limit at your house. But in public, I believe it's 30 grams. You're not allowed to have more than an ounce on you.
Yeah.
Right.
I could live with that. If I could have a cupboard with as much as I wanted, that would be great.
Yeah, I should actually check the act, because myself, you know, before legalization, I was only allowed to have whatever my prescription allowed me, which is, you know, 3 grams times. Well, yeah, it was. I would have had only 3 ounces allowed on my person before, but now I don't think there's a limit.
Anyway. The rules differ around the world on cannabis seeds, so it's not easy for some people to get hold of it, but most seed banks around the world will still ship seeds to you. One of the members messaged on Posters the other day saying they are in the USA, so there's some companies like Barney's Farm apparently won't send seeds to the USA. Does he say that specifically, or it won't send seeds to countries where it's illegal? Is that what they say?
Yeah, but I get my Barney seeds. I've got them from Seedsman, and I've got them from the vault. So, you know, you buy them through a different retailer, basically.
There's plenty of sites that will send it to you. So if you're looking for cannabis seeds, go into a seed bank and get in quality genetics for cheap. I mean, cannabis seeds can be anything from like £5, like just cheap, any lads. It's not, they're not expensive.
There's some genetics you can find in reasonable genetics, just like $2 or $3 a seed US, and then some of it'll be good grief, some seeds are going for $50 a bean for the really pricey ones, special ones.
These are some of them are going for even fucking
But
more than that.
Yeah,
I think Mackie, you're about right. You know, $5 for a bean would be a good quality genetic. Yeah,
man, around that price for people, and it's much better doing that than using a seed which you don't know what the genetics are. You know, it might be out of a bag of weed, which is called bag seed. That's what we spoke about earlier. That's just the seed that's found inside a bag of cannabis like you've bought. But if you go out and actually buy a specific seed, you know what genetics they are. You have some kind of idea what the flowering period's going to be, and you know it's good shit if you buy from a good seed bank. So your time isn't going to be wasted. You ain't going to sit there for 3-4 months and go through this grow and end up with cannabis you're not going to enjoy. You don't want to waste your time. So make sure you get good seeds in the first place. So there's some seed banks that all stoners would use. I mean, it seems to be there's a certain few that are very popular. We have the Barney's Farm and Dutch Passion, Seedsman. They all seem to be very popular. Barney's Farm are a sponsor of Percy's. We also have Ali Bongo, who is known as Bongo Bulk. Their seeds are. They're sponsors of Percy'sGrowroom.com. And you have a discount code you can use for them as well from Percy's. So feel free to go over there.
Good beans too.
And yeah, and lots of people have been growing them out, and they seem to be pretty fucking good, man. And they'll send worldwide.
No, I'm smoking the Bongo Bull Sunset Sherbet now as we speak.
Nice. So you know, any sponsors we have over at Percy's are there because they're reliable, and we would use them ourselves. So if discretion is a problem for you and you want to try and keep things discreet, Weed Seed Express, they are the shit for doing that. They are quality. They've sent seeds to me before that I was going to throw the thing away. Like, what the fuck is this? I didn't get this. Is this like spam? You know, is this junk mail? But it was actually the seeds were just so well disguised that I didn't know that there were seeds in there. So if discretion is a thing that you want to try and, you know, that is important for you, then also go for that. It's not like the other seed banks are not discreet. They'd still be discreet. But I reckon even if customs opened up the shit from Weed Seed Express, they wouldn't know there were seeds in there. Really fucking good packaging from them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in the States, we actually have some actual seed banks and seed breeders on the West Coast that you can order from in the US, you know, so it's coming, doesn't have to go through customs. It's already here.
Yeah. So Bubba Hawk said there in the chat as well, Weed Seed Express got seeds into Australia within 2 weeks of sending, fast and reliable. Yeah, man. And that because that's a problem for people in Australia as well. Apparently, there's nowhere in Australia where you can buy seeds. So Weed Seed Express, Ali Bongo, aka Bongo Bulk Seeds, they'll get seeds there. Don't worry about it. And of course, if you don't have the money, you can always win some seeds from the forum known as Percy'sGrowroom.com. Go over there. There's always competitions where you can enter and just win some seeds, you know. And if you just hang around for a while and become part of the community, you might not even have to win a competition. You just be like, I need some beans, man. I don't know how to get anywhere. But we'll send you some beans in the post, man. You're a good member. We'll send some stuff to you. So, you know, there's that too. There's always options. You can get seeds, good seeds, quality genetics from loads of seed banks all over the world. No matter where you are in the world, they can be sent to you. So that is the best option for when you're starting out.
I was going to say, I just wanted to speak a bit to Monkey's point about ordering domestic. Because I've had problems in the past with customs, I'm a bit, you know, anxious when I do order now for probably no reason at all. I'm sure if I ordered something, it would get in no problem, likely just a random bullshit. However, ordering domestically inherently is always safer, you know, if you don't have to go beyond your international borders and deal with customs. And Canada has, you know, historically kind of been odd because we're like one of the weed capitals of the world, but there are no seed banks like the ones we just mentioned, like Ali Bongo or Weed Seed Express or the Vault or whatever, Seedsman. You know, you can get them through some of the more clandestine stuff here, but there are gray, I guess, gray to black market seed banks that, you know, Jordan of the Islands is a popular breeder. His website is he's been around since the early 90s. So if you're Canadian, you probably know his stuff, or you've definitely smoked his stuff, their stuff.
Godbud, right?
Godbud, yeah, that's where that comes from. But yeah, if you're in Canada and you don't necessarily want to be restricted to the legal offerings, because like nothing against the legal stuff, they're doing what they can. You know, Parkland is putting out a lot of good gear out of Edmonton. You can get Humboldt Seed Company stuff in Ontario, apparently. I think Marge was showing me some of that, right? Yeah. So nice named stuff, or good brands and decent breeders, but it's a pretty fledgling industry, and breeding new novel stuff takes a long time. So my advice would be because in Canada it's easier to be more open about growing and stuff like that. People are usually more than happy to share genetics, myself included. I've given out thousands of seeds to people, mailed out over Canada, and just in person, if I meet you and you're like, hey, I like growing weed, I'm like, holy fuck, I start getting really excited.
Seeds, there you go.
Yeah. Here's some clones too. Clones are another thing. I know we talked about the hop latent viroid thing, but as long as you can source them properly, if you know an old medical grower that's been growing something for years and years, there's probably a good chance that they haven't had any, external contamination. And therefore, if you can get some clones from some reliable sources too.
That's a good segue to get onto the next bit, because you can get seeds from everywhere pretty much. Find you a seed bank which you prefer, and if you need help picking one, then come over to percysgrowroom.com, ask a question, and we can point you in the right direction. Yeah. But there's also cuttings, which is pretty much somebody will take a cut from a already growing cannabis plant that's in veg, and then they'll plant that into something to make some roots grow on it, and then it becomes a plant of its own, and then that is a cutting, that's a clone, which some people would use to start their cannabis growth as well. And it's a good way to do things, but unless it's a trusted person where you've got the cutting from, you're not going to be entirely sure what strain it is. And it could also be carrying diseases like the one we mentioned in the cannabis news, which was it called again, TG?
Hops. Yeah. It was first found in hops back in the 80s, and it decimated them. And hops and cannabis are extremely closely related, right? So it just jumped like viruses do. So
yeah, the problem is if you're not growing it in a legal place like TG is, he might be able to get some, and then there's places in the USA where you might be able to get some. But one problem with getting cuttings is breaking rule number 1. And if you don't know what rule number 1 is, then go back to episode the Grow Guides number 1, and that will explain it. But you're not supposed to tell anybody about this shit. And if you're getting clones from somebody knows that you're growing cannabis because you've just bought a cannabis plant from them. Out of the interest of security, it's better to just go for seeds and start from the beginning, so nobody knows that you're doing this devilish activity.
Like if it's your best friend, like even that, you're not supposed to tell your best friend and shit, right? So like, yeah, that's a touchy thing, and you're exactly right. If you're in a jurisdiction where maybe like Ireland or England, where you'll fucking definitely get in shit if somebody sees you walking. Like I've walked down the street with a pot plant in my hand, right? And people are like, "Oh, what's that?" Then nobody cares. It's like that meme. Nobody gives a shit with the fucking Jurassic Park thing. But yeah, you got to be really careful for sure.
Even in the illegal spheres, you do, without breaking the rules, you do tend to meet a lot of growers in your travels that are growers. Do you know what I mean?
Growers use certain terms.
Yeah.
And if you're talking to them about cannabis, that we don't call it bud, we call it flower. Different little subtle things, you'll pick up on it.
People who grow, there's not to sound like an elitist or something, but we definitely speak a bit different than people who only smoke it, right?
Oh, this is indica dominant.
That's right.
That's not really a smoker thing.
It's just like this isn't cured quite properly.
Right.
And I really don't think you can really understand it unless you grow, and then you're actually the one doing the curing, right?
Another couple of weeks on this and it would have been beautiful.
Exactly. Things like that, right?
Drying or whatever it is, yeah. But yeah, there's subtle hints, I guess, but do be careful if you're going to buy clones and have those.
So then when you come to buy these cannabis seeds from a seed bank, there's going to be a few different options for you. You're going to have auto flowering cannabis seeds or cannabis plants, photo period, feminized, and regulars. So, and it can be a little bit confusing if you're a new grower and you see this and you're like, what the fuck do they do? Then, with a little bit of explanation, it's easy to understand what they do. It's all pretty much what it says on the tin. But Marge, do you want to explain to people what auto flowering cannabis seeds are and what they do?
The auto flower are wonderful. I grew some last year, actually.
Sweet.
And basically, you don't have to worry about the light cycles. It just does its thing. Maybe that's a pretty generic way to describe it.
Do you mean it flowers
Basically.
automatically?
Flowers automatically, yeah.
Wow.
Grows and
Instant-
finishes, and that's it.
Doesn't matter
basically.
what you do to it.
Yeah.
It'll just start to flower.
It knows what to do, when to do it. It is the best. It is the best plant or type of cannabis plant to start off growing with.
I don't know,
Because
man. It's up for
You
debate.
think?
That is, yeah. I think photo period are better because you have that. You can extend the time window and get used to things a little bit more. You don't. If you fuck up early with an auto, it's going to have an effect on the rest of the life of the plant. If you
Well-
fuck with a photo, you can give it more time to veg. It's up for debate, isn't it? We say monkey.
An auto it's going to be kinder to a new grower because you can open that 10 any time of the day or night and peek
Yeah.
on it. It doesn't make any difference. You're not going to make the plant harm with a light shock or anything like that. So in that respect, I don't know, it's a little bit friendlier. I know what you're saying though, Mackie, because if you don't nail an auto properly in the first 2 weeks to get it really vividly growing, strong, you can end up with a really bad first run.
Yeah, the reason why I would say is because new growers aren't that fucking great at doing training or doing trimming or doing anything or
They are if they do it, though,
if you're
innit?
very forced, grow, you're not going to be great at doing anything.
Mhm.
An auto, I think an auto is the best purely for that reason, because if you don't just let it do its thing,
Well, auto's
it's going
good
to
if
give you
you
a nice bit of weed,
Mhm.
and then it allows you that you have time that you can start to fucking experiment.
I think autos are great if you're growing outdoors, man, specifically outdoors, because you just plant that thing and it's done in 12 weeks. And if there's light leaks from cars passing by, street lights, all these different things that can have an effect on the light cycle, and we'll go into that in a second, then it won't hermaphrodite. And that means it will grow male flowers and pollinate itself. And then you'll have seeds inside your buds, and you don't want that. So you want to try and avoid the whole hermy thing. And that is less likely to happen if you're going with autos. So autos are a good choice, man. But that's what auto flowering plant is. You'll just plant it, feed it until the end of its life, and then chop it down. You don't need to alter the light cycle, which is something that is you have to know about when you go to photo period plants. Monkey, you want to have a quick run through what photo period plants are?
Photo period plants, the plant will have two separate life cycle distinct phases. One will be the vegetative stage, and one will be the blooming stage in a photo period plant. And the way you change from going from one to another, in vegetative stage, you can pretty much give the plant as much light as you want to. Some people have grown them under 24 hours light, but most people use 18 hours of light and then 6 hours of dark. And the plant will just continue to grow forever like that. Will never bloom. It'll just stay healthy and green if you keep it fed and keep it trained and give it enough space. But then if you want to make it bloom on a photoperiod plant, you change your light cycle till you have at least 12 hours of darkness at night. Mm-hmm. And that will cause the plant to trigger its bloom cycle. It'll start stretching, it'll make buds, and then its life cycle at that point, it starts ticking a clock because it's on just like an auto, it's on a timer to a finish at that point. Mm-hmm. But you have to trigger it by switching the light cycle. That's in a nutshell, that's all photo is.
And that's what used to only be available to everybody with these photo period plants, where they'd be on 18/6 for veg and then 12/12 for flower. And autos are reasonably new, been like 15, 20 years since autos been around, right? I think that's about right. And so and it's made things a lot easier for sure.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about photo period, the light cycles or anything on my first grow. It was a bag seed up, and I planted it in the fall, and it started blooming right away. It was like crazy.
Sweet. At least it got done fast.
Yeah, well, small plant too. But hey, everybody, you got to start somewhere, so.
I think the autoflowers have been around for thousands of years, but
yeah. Ruderalis.
Yeah. Anyway, not commercially, but yes.
Mm-hmm. And then we have, because then you have your auto flowering plants and your feminized plants. Sorry, your photo period plants, and then you have feminized, which pretty much is what it says on the tin, right? It's just plants being feminized. TG, you want to have a quick run through what feminized seeds are and how they work?
Feminized, yeah. Feminized is the word everybody uses, but female seeds are probably, a more apt name because that's all they are. They're going to be female plants. Feminized kind of implies that anyway, I'm not going
to them.
Yeah. And something was done to them, but not really anything out of the ordinary. It was just a pollination that just happened to only have X chromosomes in the sex bits. And now they're all female. But anyway, that's what a female or feminized seeds are. they say 99% will be guaranteed to grow female plants. And it's just like what I've said. I don't know if you guys probably know that I've seen my reversals and stuff. You reverse a female plant by spraying with silver thiosulfate or colloidal silver at 33 ppm. It starts growing male flowers. The pollen in said male flowers only contains the female sex chromosome, which then you pollinate another female with, which also only has the female sex chromosome, obviously because it's a female. Mm-hmm. So the progeny, i.e. the kids, the seeds, will also only have female sex chromosomes because there's no male sex chromosomes in there to even deal with at all. So that's the feminized. Autos can be feminized. Photos can be feminized, but photos are not autos. People get that mixed up, and regular versus feminized is kind of a dumb one. Regular is like a very vague term.
GB is going to cover that
but
one.
GB will cover that one in a minute. But yeah, it's like feminized. All that means is you're going to get female seeds, or you should only get female seeds.
Mm-hmm. Like 99.9%, you should get a female plant.
And that doesn't photos and autos can be feminized, right?
Correct. Yeah. But this also doesn't guarantee you that you won't get male flowers on your feminized seeds, because stability is a whole nother thing. If they're prone to hermaphroditism, then you're going to get both, and that's not good.
And when you say both, that's where regular seeds come in. Which GB, that you want to explain what regular seeds are, mate?
Regs are basically just that. They are regular seeds. You get male and female in them. You know, it's as TG was going on with the chromosomes, you have a mix of both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you plant a seed, it's going to be 50% male plant or 50% female plant, right?
I've always, to be fair, I've always had a better ratio of females to male, and I know even in the wild there tends to be more females to males, because you only need one male to pollinate fucking half a field of females as such, you know. But they do say it's a 50-50. That's in general.
I was reading from a breeder the other day. He was claiming that it was closer to 35-65. For the exact same reason you just said, GB. He said that nature doesn't produce as many males because they don't need as many. But in my head, the math doesn't work out. If XY chromosomes work the same way, the math says it's going to be a 50% mix. But so I don't know who to believe.
You should believe. If you guys don't believe that environmental factors can influence that, then you should believe the math, because that's exactly what that is. Mm-hmm. If nature decides, who's nature? What is nature? Nature is like effects on the seed. It's like, there's not very many, unless that's just inherent in the seed, but I kind of doubt that. So I'm more down with the Mendelian ratios.
50-50 thing.
To me, would it not go that you've got two X's, then you have an X and a Y, so therefore you have more chances of having an XX combination than you do of having an XY combination?
No.
Statistic.
The female can only ever throw an X at the situation, and the male can throw an X or a Y as one of each. So, if you split it up, he's going to throw one X and one Y. Mm-hmm. So half of them is going to be one, half is going to be the other.
So let's just quickly explain that whole pollination process. Is the male cannabis plant will grow flowers on it that release pollen, and the female cannabis plant will grow flowers that will receive the pollen and grow the seeds. So when the male plant grows up and it produces the pollen, the wind will blow the plant and the pollen will be lifted, and that will fly on the breeze to land on a female plant, where that pollinates what was it called? The stigma? Was it the anther?
Stigma is the female. The anther is what drops the pollen off of the male flower.
Yeah. And then that will grow, the pollen will pretty much grow into a cannabis seed, and it will have 50% of the male's genetics and 50% of the female's genetics to make up a new seed, which will make a new phenotype of whichever strains the mother and the father was, pretty much. But a female plant, when it's pollinated, can produce thousands of seeds, a ridiculous amount of seeds.
Tens of thousands even.
Mm-hmm. And each one of those seeds can potentially become another cannabis plant. It just depends on what genetics came from the parents, and that's how the feminist seeds that's how the feminized seeds come along, is that both parents are female. It's just one of those females have been chemically induced to grow male male parts which have female genetic pollen, right?
And you hit an important point there, chemically induced, because nature, in all of its glory and nature is a lot of chemicals. It doesn't produce colloidal silver specifically to spray on weed plants, right? And reverse them and make feminized. So this only happens synthetically or anthropogenically, I guess we should say, due to humans, right? Only humans make feminized seeds. So in the wild, you'll never find feminized seeds unless they're produced through hermaphroditism.
And we've mentioned that a couple of times as well. Do you want to quickly explain what Hermy is there, TG?
Yeah, sure. It's just the wrong kind of flower growing on the plant. You know, if you have a female plant with mostly or female parts and you get a male flower growing on it, that's hermaphrodite's kind of I don't know if that's really the right term. Intersex plant might be more appropriate. It's one of those semantics things, but hermaphrodite, everybody knows what that means. But yeah, basically, and you can have it the other way too. I've actually had male plants grow a whole shitload of stigmata out of the top and turn into a fucking kind of a female thing.
That's it. It does work both ways, but because most growers only want to grow female plants to get the buds with the nice THC and the crystals on and shit, then a lot of people don't grow male plants, so you won't see it the opposite way too much.
Yeah. The problem with those Hermes though is because when we do it anthropogenically, you know, through the silver treatments, that's us doing it. It wasn't induced by some an external factor like a light leak or too cold or, you know, whatever the fuck it is. Whereas basically we controlled that, but we don't want these Hermes because we really can't control that. If it's really unstable and you get Hermes, you know, male flowers on your females all the time, no matter what, which can happen, that's out of our control. And while the seeds produced would be female likely, they would also carry that hermaphroditic trait, which would fuck up everything that you're trying to do. That's why people hate them. So
that's right. Anyway.
Sensimilla.
Sensimilla.
That's a Spanish word, I think, right?
Yeah. But without seed.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's what most growers want when they grow female plants. And that's why most growers, if you're growing cannabis for personal use, so you can use it to smoke it or make edibles or extracts or whatever you want to do with the cannabis, you would just grow a female plant. Now, if you're going to get regulars, if you're going to grow regulars and you're going to do what we recommended and grow 4 plants in a 1.2 meter grow tent, then you're going to have to pop 8 seeds, because there's a chance that 50% of them are going to be male and 50% of them are going to be female. And you have to be reliant on the odds there. And this is why most growers would choose to use feminized seeds, because that's got a much higher chance of it being a female plant. It will most likely be a female, so you don't have to waste 4 seeds, assuming that 4 of them are going to be male. They're all going to be female. So you can just pop 4 feminized seeds.
I've a friend of mine over here in Ireland who popped 20 regs and got 15 males.
Damn.
Yeah, that was just bad luck.
The odds balance out somewhere else.
Well, the thing is you can't, it's a 50-50 ratio, but it doesn't mean out of 2 seeds you're going to get a male and a female. That ratio is based on a huge sample size, and the larger the number, the larger the sample, the more accurate that ratio becomes. But there's always going to be deviations, so you can't be like, fuck, I only got, I got 9 out of 12 my past grow because I grew some auto regs that I made, and that's 75%, so way off the ratio. But if I would have grown more, eventually it would equal out, right? So
I mean, my run right now with the regs was 4 females out of 4. So I mean, you never know.
That's awesome. Yeah, exactly.
I've had really good luck with regs as well, Monkey. I grew out TGs A472 out of 6. I only got 2 males.
Sweet. I've had good luck with mine. I threw down 20 crystal and aniseed seeds last night for a secret project I'm going to be doing. But I only need 1. So, I'm going to definitely get 1, but it's kind of like a little bit of a selection too. So I'm not just looking for a female, but I want a good female now, right? But I mean, I fully expect to get probably 8 to 12 males out of this too. So
if you're looking at breeding, sorry, Marge, you're saying something.
Yeah, just a quick question about the seeds. If someone's looking to buy regular versus feminized, are the regular typically less expensive to buy than the feminized seeds?
Oh, it used to be, but
depends.
yeah, nowadays regulars are more expensive than feminized because people
Depends.
people want to
Yeah.
breed with them.
Depends on it.
However's-
Yeah.
It depends
Yeah.
where you get them from. I found one in Oregon that sells regs, and it's like $3 US per seed. You know, they're regs, so they're cheap.
I was looking at new ones that came out on Humboldt Seed Organization, and they're like 250 quid for 20 regs. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking expensive, but there's a lot of time and money goes into making them. So
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, though, man, like
Mm.
I don't know. Brian was saying earlier he got some Gorilla Glue clones, but the guy who he got them from spent $500 on 3 seeds. And it's like that's a lot of money. And honestly, 3 seeds, even if the parental genetics are the fucking firest shit ever, you're not really guaranteed to
Nope.
get that out of the 3, even if you sell them and there's stable parents and everything. I mean, genetics can recombine in all kinds of ways, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
I've seen Tug Pug, man. Tug Pug Genetics. Some of his fucking stuff goes for thousands of euros.
Yeah, really.
You know, or thousands of dollars. Sorry, it's fucking
hype,
crazy.
honestly, in my opinion. You know, but
So
anyway.
is it worth buying regular seeds then? Like for someone who's not looking to breed or get into it, they just want to grow weed. Is it worth buying regular?
No, feminized seeds all the way, man. I mean, there's some tales, some rumors, you know how the bro science goes with cannabis growing, that getting regulars, growing a regular female will end up with a better quality than growing a feminized plant. But I just think that's one of those rumors. I don't think there's any evidence to support that. So
the only thing that I would say is that maybe there might be a reg that you can't get in a feminized or an auto. Well, that will be the only reason that would want me to grow out. You know, regs.
It is true. Regs there's a lot more variety in regulars, I would say. All the feminized originally came from regulars, right? And feminizing, you do run into some issues because in order to feminize, you have to self the seed. And inherently in selfing, you do run into, well, if you do it too much, you can get inbred nests because the plant's fucking itself. So there's no new genetic inputs. So eventually you can have deleterious genes crop up and then reduced vigor and stuff. So then there's ways to reinvigorate them and stuff. Right. But this isn't about breeding. This is fucking seeds.
But then an awful lot, as TG said as well, an awful lot of the new stuff that's coming out by breeders, an awful lot of it is regs.
They're easier to make. I mean, to be honest, and for that, you know, like you can have a bigger selection in terms of the genetic diversity. You find a really fucking good male and stuff, and like, not that there's anything wrong with selfing. Like that's how you can preserve other genetics in ways too. But yeah, outcrossing or making further F lines, I guess, in this sense, you can really nail down some fucking unreal shit. And really the only way to do that is through regulars. So
that's it. And you can also, when you get your regular seeds, you know, and you find out which one's a male and which one's a female, and you keep which one you want. Most likely you keep the female. And then like who said it there? Artman says 15 out of 20, that's why I clone. But that's it. When you find a good female, you can take cuttings from it and grow the clones out instead. So from one seed you can grow many female plants.
But you can't take cuttings from an auto, right?
You can, but it won't grow properly. It's better to just leave it on auto to grow from seed to finish.
Yeah.
Like you said, autos are on a fixed time schedule, so I mentioned in chat, usually you can only take clones by about week 3 just because of the size of the plant. And probably odds are your auto is going to start flowering in the next, if it hasn't already, if it's a fast flowering one, in the next week or 2. And so the cutting you take will also be that exact same age, and therefore will also start flowering too, because it's, you know, and then that just won't work because it's got a root and all this. I've never actually tried it, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you know.
I haven't either, but that's just something to keep in mind for anybody if they want to start making clones, that you have to be using a photo period.
Yeah, and that's photo period. It doesn't matter whether it's regular or feminized, as long as it's a photo period, because regular and feminized are 2 different things. But So let's say, because there's going to be new people listening to this, wondering what seeds should they get now with all that information which we've just given them, which is quite a bit. What is the best choice for them? GB, what would you choose? You're going to buy some seeds.
I would.
What are you going to go for?
If I was seeds for a very first grow, I will buy autos, and I will probably go with. I started off with Mazar. It was such an easy plant to grow with, you know, from Dutch Passion.
Yeah.
No, that's what I would recommend.
Yeah. What about you, TG? What would you say was the best thing for a new grower to go for?
Grower, yeah. You know, autos are really easy. If you have your pot big enough and you're not going to have it be root stressed, it's really just like Marge said, dump water in it until it's done. Assuming it maybe super soil, you have to feed it too. But yeah, autos, I think probably because the light schedule isn't a hard thing to deal with, but it is easy to fuck up. You know, you forget that you're growing, or if you're a new grower, you've never done this before and you're not used to the schedule, you walk downstairs to get something out of your freezer or whatever the fuck's down there, and oh shit, you know, that can do it.
And light leaks as well, just simple light leaks getting into the tent can really fuck up a photo period. Yeah,
exactly. So autos are a lot more malleable in terms of like, you don't need a dark room to do them. You can grow them. I grow them outside. It's the only thing I grow outside here in Saskatchewan because I can't finish a photo. It'll start flowering, but then it'll die because it gets frost and freezes to death before it's done. So I have to grow autos. So depending on where you are in the world and how much sunlight you get and how long your growing season is, if you're a new grower, that's something to consider as well. But yeah, autos are the easiest for me, I would say, for new people to get your kind of head around.
What you say, Monkey? What do you think?
Well, when I started on photos, but I'm not going to let that influence my decision. I think if I was a new grower today, knowing what I know now, I'd go with an auto version of something simple like a White Widow, because that's going to give you a really fast turnaround on a low maintenance plant. And I think a lot of new growers, that's what a lot of new growers are looking for, something they can have fast.
Good point, man.
That would give you decent quality weed at a pretty easy selection there.
What do you think, Marge? What would your choice be?
Well, it's funny that Monkey brought up the White Widow, because when we were doing our indoor hydroponics grow, that's what we started with. And it was a good one to start with because it was pretty simple to grow and it had decent yields, and it was it was pretty forgiving. But I also agree with Temple on the auto flower too, because I have a shorter season here as well for outdoor growing, and they're just so easy and low maintenance as well. So, but I mean, you can get overwhelmed with the different choices and options out there. If you look at any seed bank and you see how many different seeds are available, sometimes it's just a matter of picking something that you like and just doing it.
For sure. And this is like for all the episodes we've done so far in the new Grow Guide series, like everything, you have to try and choose just what works best for you, because there's so many ways of doing all of this shit. What tent to use, how much space to grow in, what light to use, what medium to use, what seeds to grow, what strain to grow. Should it be autos? Should it be photos? There's just so many different decisions you have to make, and you have to make them for yourself. Essentially, just get as much information as you can, and then decide what's going to work best for you. And most people nowadays, autos would be a good way to start, man. It would be a nice, easy way to start, because they're so good nowadays. It's not like they were 10, 15 years ago, where it was a hit and miss with the genetics. If you go to a good seed bank and get good autos, you'll end up with a good plant. And all you have to do pretty much is just plant it and feed it properly. And when you get to the end of harvest, it's done. You don't have to worry about light leaks and things like that. Photo periods are also good though, because if you have mistakes and you're on the learning curve, there's always the learning curve when you learn anything new. But if you do have problems in the early days of the grow, then you've got time to fix it and adjust the feed and just make sure that the plant's feeling better before you put it into flower, and then you'll probably get a better result at the end. But you don't have that option with auto plants. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, I said I like to use photos if you're a new grower, to learn how to train a plant, because there's a lot to that. And with a photo, you can take your time and do what you want to do, learn it right, and then flip it.
Yeah.
See, that's why I was saying, Monkey, to get the basics of keeping the plant alive. So just basically, like if you're in cocoa, trying to get your head around cocoa the first time and to try working in with training and working in with life schedules and things, it can be a bit overwhelming for some people. You know? And that's why, like, I personally would advise people that leave your photos for 2, maybe 3 sometimes, just so that you get into your whole comfortable routine of what way it should be. Because when you have the comfortable of that part down, well, then you can concentrate quite easily on the other, and it won't interfere.
But there's also something else that people should consider is when you go for the photo periods, the night cycle is 12 hours rather than 6. So when you're growing autos, for the whole life cycle of an auto flower, you'll keep it on at least 18 hours a day with 6 hours darkness. That's how much, you know, your lights are on for 18 hours a day rather than 12 hours a day, which would be photo period. And some people even go further than that with 20 hours of light per day. And some even go with the full 24 hours of light, no darkness for an auto flower. So that makes a big difference on the energy bills. If you're growing outdoors, like TG said, growing autos is great because you can probably get 2 seasons out of it as well. It's not just all plant early and then you're done.
If you can grow photos, do outdoors, but because then I mean,
you'll get beasts, massive plants doing that, isn't it?
And there's nothing you can do anyway unless you're doing light depth. So yeah, if you're in a position where you can grow photos, like on Vancouver Island they do, in southern Ontario, some places they do apparently. But yeah,
the further north you get, then the better you are doing an auto rather than a photo.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's so many options, man. And just like anything else with any of this, if you need any help, if you have any questions, then just go over to percysgrowroom.com, sign up if you're not a member already. It's absolutely free. And then you can just ask the questions and you'll be able to find out everything you need right there from experienced growers who have already figured out the answers to these questions for themselves. And just like everything else, it's going to depend specifically on your situation. You'll be able to find somebody in a similar situation to you and get ideas from them. But there's no way anybody can tell you this is how to do it, because there's no exact way on how to do any of this. People can just help you try and figure out the way you are going to do it, because it's different for everybody. It's like a science and an art form together at the same time. So take that into consideration when you're doing your thing, man. But make your choice. Find your medium, find your seeds, and begin to grow. And that's what we'll cover next week, is we'll cover how to germinate cannabis seeds and how to take cuttings. So you'll be able to get your own growth started from them. And then you should pop your seeds, man, and get ready. But before we quickly move on, what strains would we all recommend? You see, I recommend anything that anybody enjoys the most. Like you've been to Amsterdam or some other place and you're like, that shit is delicious. I'm going to grow that. Just go for that. And it's all the same shit, really. Some will take longer than others. If you're looking for a fast harvest, then find a fast harvest strain. It's one which flowers quickly. But just grow something you like, because then when it comes to the end of it, you're going to enjoy it. And that's the most important thing, making sure that you enjoy whatever you've spent months growing. You want to make sure you enjoy it. So make sure it's a strain you enjoy. Is there a particular strain you'd recommend, TG?
Species A472.
There we go.
No, I don't know. I mean, I had a really, really good experience. I don't usually like to promote breeders or whatever, but Barney's Farms Pineapple Express Auto, I got as a couple freebies. That thing was done in like fucking 50 days or 54 days. And it was like, it was tropical. It was resinous. It was easy as fuck to grow. No problem. It was just in my soil. It was water only. So I suspect it's a very low maintenance thing. So I would recommend that, if you have access to it. But other than that, don't spend too much on shit would be my advice, because while Mephisto is cool, and I have grown Mephisto myself, very good reputation for autos, they're expensive as fuck. And if you're a first time grower, you might fuck up. So,
yes, good point.
What
Anyway.
do you think, Monkey? What would you suggest the first strain for people to grow? The White Widow?
White Widow, or I'd probably go with something that's been around a while, like White Widow, Northern Lights, something to that effect, because, well, lots and lots of people have grown them. And so when you have a problem, people are going to know exactly what's going on with those strains. But nowadays, there's so many easy to grow genetics out there. I'm going to kind of lean a little bit into your answer as well. If you're looking for a specific taste, find something you like, because there's a ton of it out there these days. Every flavor you can imagine.
That's right, man. What are you saying, GB? What would you recommend for people to grow first strain?
Yeah, but I am kind of in the same lines as Monkey. You know, go with something that's old, that somebody's that you know has been around. Like I'd recommend AK-47 for anyone that's grown over here, because AK is such a nice plant.
And Jack Herriman, what's nobody mentioned that Jack yet? What's going
on? I was coming to
too.
Jack. I was coming to Jack next.
Yeah, man.
But they would be the three. Would be Northern Lights, Jack, or AK-47 as well. They would be the three. And they're such they're hardy plants. You know, you can make mistakes as such with them, and they'll bounce back very easy. You know, especially with AK-47, it works well in cold climates. You know?
Yeah, that's it, man. Loads of shit that works. Marge, what would you recommend?
Well, again, I'm like I said, the White Widow, but in the autoflower I had last year, I did a Magic Melon by the Humboldt Seed Company, not Humboldt Seed Organization, two different things. It turned out really great. I can't complain. So just pick something that you like. I think that makes the most sense, because
pick something that you like, and if you need help, head over to Percy's and people will put you in the right direction, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're onto something there with picking them old ones, you know, stable genetics, and they're the old ones that are still around for a reason. It's because they're fucking good. Yeah. So if you get any of those, you won't be disappointed. But just like we've said it many times, the most important thing is get started, man. What are you waiting for? You know, get your shit together and start growing your own weed. Do it.
I didn't say skunk because I didn't think you wanted to start with like a really smelly one, you know, first time grower.
Oh man, that's a good one though.
It's a good one, but you're also gonna have to fight that odor. New growers, sometimes that can be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, a bit scary as well. Anxiety inducing.
Good shit. That's the good shit.
But I think that's about it, really. We can give for this episode. That's about it for the grow guides. There's loads of information there, and if you have any questions, make sure you head over to percysgrowroom.com, sign up to the forum, and just ask questions, man. Good community over there that's happy to answer any questions you have. So go over there and ask them. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah, what I would say as well, sometimes it does be an awful lot cheaper to buy the multi-packs, like a 5-pack or things like that, than it is just to buy one seed. The amount of people I know that buy just one seed, and then they'd be so disheartened when the seed doesn't fucking germinate or it doesn't take off, and then they have to go back to it again to buy one more.
Especially when you're a new grower as well, you might fuck up that germination process.
So I would say get 3-pack minimums.
Yeah.
3-pack minimum.
3 to 5, 10 at the most. You shouldn't need any more than 10. And that can be a little expensive. But when you come to the end and your harvest is done and you've got ounces and ounces of cannabis from it, it's like it's worth spending the money on the good seeds, man. So do it. We have some questions we should get to before we wrap everything up. One for Marge.
Yes.
About edibles. Again, people always asking you about edibles, man. Like we don't know anything about edibles, Marge.
I know, it's kind of funny, isn't it?
I wonder what that is.
Yeah, I wonder.
Oh, it's because we have small gonads now. You know how that
is. Yeah, I don't do edibles. You know?
So as long as nobody's been scared off by that article, I'll answer this question from I'm Sparky, which is, what is your favorite easy edible recipe?
No, Sparky's like, I'm not interested anymore. Don't worry much.
Maybe take this answer with a grain of salt, but I would say the easiest thing, if you're making edibles, is to do like the boxed mix. It's sort of a cheat, I guess, because you have your infusion and then everything's done for you as long as the box calls for an oil or a fat to put in it. You don't want the ones that call for nothing but water.
Yeah, because they taste like shit.
Well, that too. You put your infusion in somewhere. So that's probably the easiest one that I've done. But I mean, I tend to like things that make a bunch of things. Like I made fudge around Christmas time. There's actually a listener sent in the recipe to me, and I think he's listening to this show now as well. So shout out to Steve if he's listening. But something like that is great because it's pretty easy to make. And I cut it up and put it in the freezer. So when I want some, I just take a piece or two out of the freezer and I eat them, and then they keep forever or well, until I eat them all.
Mm-mm-mm.
So stuff like that. I know it's delicious. And I do infuse them because I have made a batch of non-infused fudge around Christmas time and I ate a disgusting amount of it. So this really keeps my sweet tooth in check. And then I like in the
No, I
summer.
mean, no, don't eat any more of those. You'll be fucked up.
That's right. Yeah, and I have done that as well. I will say I remember making a batch of cookies one time, and they were so good, and I ate 2 or 3 too many of them, and I had to call in sick to work the next day because I was still fucked up on my health afterwards. It was not one of my finer moments, so don't do that. But another thing too, and I've never done this by decarbing in the oven, but I have an Ardent FX, and that's like a device that allows you to decarb your weed. And it's incredibly precise. And they claim that the cannabis that you get out of it is far more activated than if you're using an oven to decarb, because your oven temperatures can vary so much. And you can use that decarb cannabis and like pretty much just throw it in anything. You don't even have to put it into an infusion. So that doesn't really get much easier than that. But I do feel like the Ardent makes a big difference when it comes to decarbing if you're going to go that route. But
nice.
That's something else for something easy, because you could sprinkle it on your salad. You could do whatever, you know, throw it into your next cookie mix or that kind of thing. And then of course you can always take some of your infusion, honey, syrup works really well, or your coconut oil, and just put it into like a hot drink.
Yeah, and if anybody's there, like, damn, that sounds complex. There's so many different things you can do. Marge has a recipe for all of this over
That's
at
right.
her. You got a website too, haven't you, Marge?
I do. It's bitemepodcast.com for Bite Me, the show about edibles.
Yeah, man. So get over there and learn about edibles, everybody. It's like most of you are like probably over 30 or something. I mean, I don't know how old our listeners are, but we've have plenty of people who already had their children. So you don't have to worry about your balls shrinking and things like that. So
That's right.
Just get over there and make yourself some edibles, man. Some of
Make
that
your
fudge.
edibles wild abandon, and don't worry about the ball size anymore.
Yeah. That's scientific term now, Marge. Ball size.
That's right. Maybe we're looking for birth control. Maybe we want more edibles. You know what I mean?
So bitemepodcast.com. Is that it, Marge?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Go there, everybody. Make sure you're listening to Marge's show as well. Then we have a complicated-ish one because it's got a complicated wording that I can't really pronounce properly. From Postman Wayne. What's up, Postman Wayne? I hope you're all good, bro. Has anyone tried adding potassium polycrylate to the soil to extend the time between watering? This is a soil question. It's probably down to you, TG.
Well, I don't know what the fuck that is, and
I don't know what that
Google
is either. Yeah,
That's a water crystal thing.
Yeah, based on the question, I would agree with Monkey. It's some sort of thing that helps absorb water and then probably slowly release it through the soil, so you don't have to water as often or something. And I've used products like that, not in my cannabis, but I don't know. I just fucking watered enough. That's all. What do you?
No,
yeah, I don't know.
Why would you want to extend the time between your soil waterings anyway? It's already like 3 or 4 days, right? If you got to go somewhere, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah,
it says it reduces plant stress.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I'm way off.
Polyaccurate maximizes plant growth by reducing plant stress. It also absorbs and releases soil nutrients.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I'm kind of wondering if that would inhibit the wet-dry cycling.
And adding more potassium to the medium as well, that's going to increase potassium levels, I assume.
If it leaches, if it's a non-stable compound, right?
So yeah, there's lots of different options out there. Twisted has got a cool automated watering system, and Sparky said in the chat there he uses blue mats. Blue mats are a good option if you want to try and reduce the amount of time you have to water the plant. But
very hard to get them this side of the pond.
Well, for blue mats.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, but there's other options, man. You can set up an automated water system pretty easily. It's not very difficult. You just have to get the equipment, but you can do it. It's easy enough.
I put one together for I think less than €35.
I'd say about 40 quid. You get it all set up.
And that was just one like I copied Monkey basically with a timer that goes down to the second.
And that's the most expensive part of it right there. It's a timer. Everything else is pretty minimal after that. Some tubing and, an aquarium fish pond pump. Yeah.
Then we have one here from Billy Bonds. can you dry out bubble hash on a radiator? Yes, you can, but it's better to let it dry naturally.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the question. Of course you can, but I'm
I
assuming that if it gets too hot, you're gonna lose terpenes.
And it doesn't even take that long either. I mean, you're just squashing it a lot. You know, when you squash it, it's pretty much wringing out the water. So it doesn't take long to actually get it dry.
I don't know how this works. Maybe one of you could explain it more, but I have seen somebody who they get the dry sift hash, they push it all together and then refreeze it and then take it back and then grind it with a cheese grater.
Yeah.
And they use the real fine side and they do it back out. And it dries a lot quicker and more evenly. Have any of you seen that? It was Mr.
Yeah, I've heard somebody doing it before. I've heard of it.
I've seen it done, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really make a lot of hash. Chilbert is the hash guy from Percy's, really. He knows what he's doing with that kind of shit. When you do make this hash, you should be pressing it together like Frenchy Cannoli would do. He'd get a hot water bottle, well, a glass bottle that's full of hot water, and he would roll it over the hash to help it merge together properly, help it stick together and shit. So I assume that wouldn't get up to the same temperatures. I mean, when you're doing it with a hot water bottle, it would be much hotter doing it that way than it would be sitting on a radiator to dry. So it won't make too much of a difference, I'd assume. But if you can let it just sit there in normal room temperature with a fan over it to let it dry off, I think that would be the best way to do it. Yeah.
Not directly on it because it'll blow it off.
But it shouldn't be you should keep it in a block form before you do that, and it's not just left as like the powder. Because even that doesn't take very long. So if you're making dry ice hash and you just shake it up onto the side, it doesn't take very long for it to dry out. So it's not a long process anyway. You shouldn't be so impatient, Billy. You should maybe smoke some wet hash and wait a little bit longer. But I don't think it. What do you think, TG? You think that will? What are you thinking about that?
You might get, I don't know how hot it gets, but you'd probably get some sort of degradation. You'd definitely lose terpenes. I don't know. If you're in a hurry. I've dried weed in a toaster before.
Toaster weed.
No, toaster bud, actual toaster bud. And I brought it over to some like OG stoners, and I was like, "Hey, try this." And they're like, "Oh, this is good." Yeah, if you could see my face, you'd see I was not being serious.
Would hot water bottle rolled keef be accepted in the hash comp? Yes, Rasha, get on it, mate. Everybody needs to enter the Frenchy Cannoli Cup over at Percy's as well and show off your hash making skills.
Maybe I'll make a fucking little rope. I gotta clean out my grinder. It's been
bro.
almost 3 years now. Actually more than 3 years it's been filling. So
damn. Sweet. And then we have one more from SG2, but it's a little complex. Optimal light intensity in the par for different stages of growth and DLIs. I'll just say about 18 inches away from the plants, man. What's wrong with that? It gets complex when it's all par and shit like that at different stages of growth.
I've got some information if he wants it, but
yeah, man, what are you saying? Okay.
Well, I mean, seedlings basically and this is a very basic cannabis guideline because strains are different. Sometimes someone want more, some want less. But about 250 par in seedlings, about 450 par from teens up till about 9 inches tall, then about 500 par as you switch to 12-12, 750 par mid bloom, 850 par late bloom, and then hold 850 or fade back down either way on your last 3 weeks. Bam.
Fuck off all the time. I just blast them.
Yep,
yeah,
me too.
By the way,
no, 100%.
I like numbers. I like numbers. So I've got a meter, and I like to know what I'm doing. It's just me.
I was talking to Shane and Migro there last week, and he was saying that the LEDs and things now and it's not even just from his menu, from all of them, they are so well done now. He said that they are a fairly good even spread of power across them. You don't really tend to get the hot spots. Is that what you're talking about?
The numbers, though, are important. And the numbers really, unless you have a quantum sensor, I know there's an app that the aforementioned Shane talks about. I don't think it's a Migro app, but it's just on your cell phone, and it's pretty accurate apparently. But yeah, I agree with Monkey about the 700 mark. That's about what I shoot for, and that's based on Shane's videos. That's what his optimal height is when he does his, to try to find the optimal height of all his light tests. He looks for about 700 average micromoles across the space, and I think it hits 1,000 like right in the middle, right underneath. And 1,000 is a bit much. When you get 1,000 plus par, you're gonna need CO2 supplementation to really take advantage of that extra light. Otherwise, it's just gonna be wasted essentially, maybe even damage your plants. But yeah, I would if you don't have the ability to scale up like that, like most lights have a dimmer, and so you can do what Monkey was saying. But I would shoot for about 700 the whole time. That's what I do. I just turn my lights on and hang them.
Yeah, once you get them past the teens and they're nice and healthy, you can hit them at 700 and go with it. Yeah.
The DLI, though, that's a good, very interesting thing. It basically is just a measure of your par over the whole day. If nobody knows what that is, you want about 40 to 50 as a value, moles per meter squared per day. And yeah, it's just basically you just add up all the seconds. That's 700 par per meter squared. There's micromoles per meter squared per second. So you just find out how many seconds there are in a day and multiply that number by that, and you end up with a DLI. And the DLI is a really useful thing to, also base your light efficiency on. And if you're getting that amount of light, you're probably good, kind of thing. Commercial greenhouses have used that for forever, and cannabis is kind of new, maybe. I don't know. It's not a commonly discussed thing. Dr. Bruce Bugbee, though, at Apogee Institute, definitely check him out. He's got a lot of good fucking DLI type of information. But 700 par. That would be my advice to you guys.
So there we go, man. But that's the end of Grow Guides. I think that's all the questions answered there, and we covered the seeds. Right, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer, head over to percysgrowroom.com, sign up to the forum, and drop a post in there. It's all real easy. It's free, and we have a great community over there that's ready to welcome you when you sign up. So do it if you haven't already. It'd be good to see you over there. If you haven't already, also follow us on Instagram at instagram.com/highonhomegrown, and you'll see there we have a competition where you can win 3 Barney's Farm seeds with a grinder and a stash jar, plus a signed copy of Walter the Wizard and the Magic Seed, which is the book written by Alison Littlefair, who we had on as an interview a few weeks ago. So make sure you head over to Instagram, like that post, tag 3 friends, make sure you liked our page, instagram.com/highonhomegrown, and also Walter the Wizard's page as well. It's all linked in the post, so just head there and you'll find it. But I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll catch you on Sunday for the next episode. Thank you once again for joining us. It's always a pleasure. See you next week. Goodbye.